Afternoon. We're at the French fort of Schoenbourg, which is on the Maginot line. We've not gone to Luxembourg, so we've come to look at this instead. So Luxembourg just didn't fall into our plans properly. I've got a little bit of information, done open for a little bit, so we're kind of stuck outside. So I'll read you what it says. The fort of Schoenbourg was the most heavily bombarded structure on the Maginot line. On the 14th of May 1940, it was subjected to enemy attack, notably German artillery employed a giant 420mm howitzer which fired 56 shells, each weighing more than a ton. On the 20th of June, German planes bombed the fort 7 times, dropping 160 tons of bombs on the combat blocks and the entrances. In all, the fort was attacked by more than 3,000 bombs and shells of different calibers. In spite of the incessant bombardment, the fort maintained its defence capability. It retaliated efficiently, and its guns fired more than 17,000 shells. Unconquered, the crew of Schoenbourg only laid down their weapons on the formal order of the French High Command 6 days after the armistice took effect. So it says what we're going to look at in a bit when we go in. It says the fort of Schoenbourg is complete and authentic and is entirely equipped with all its original elements. The fort is listed the inventory of historical monuments. What we're going to see inside: the barracks, sanitation facilities, kitchen, sick bay, electrical power plant, the main gallery, its secret emergency exit, the command post, a combat block and its impressive gun turret, and various thematic exhibitions. So that's what we're going to have a look at while we're here. I'm going to go and have a brew first. So it wasn't taken on there, but I do know it wasn't as effective as what they thought it was. I suppose the French put in a good spin on it, because the Germans came around behind them and they took it from behind. So France was taken anyway, and the guns only pointed towards Germany. There was nothing really that was pointing towards the rear, so it made it not so well, I don't know what word it is I'm looking for, not as effective as I think they wanted it to do. It was built around about 1934-35, I think, and that would have been after Hitler had taken over Germany. So we'll have a little bit of a look at this, see what it says in there. I think it's all written in French. Oh. Yeah, it says the artillery fort Schoenbourg was built from 1931 to 1935, consists of 8 concrete blocks linked by 2,800 metres of underground galleries. In 1940, its crew consisted of 630 troops. In May and June 1940, the fort was heavily bombed by German artillery and the Luftwaffe. The fort remained unconquered, and the crew held out until the armistice of June 25th, 1940. You're in front of the main entrance of the fort, Block 7, ammo entrance. So I guess what that is there. There's a map thing of what it was in the area. There's an old photo from 1940. So there you go. Anyway, I'm going to have a brew, and then hopefully we'll get to have a look around the fort. Okay, we've just got inside, just past the thing, and we're going into here first, which is the anti-tank gun. So there's numbered the 10 things for us to see. Oh, that mouse is shooting towards the entrance with a light machine gun. Huh. read that everything that's in here is authentic.
Alerte, mitrailleur au poste. Objectif, la lisière, 150 mètres. Débit, 1 chargeur. Ventilation en route. Dès que prêt, feu.
Yeah. Okay. So this texture, that's what it looks like outside, and then and that's where it would be. Looking out with the gun now. Show you again. Right. And then you went up on this platform. We've come out of that area now, so we've come out of the where the anti-tank lies. And that's showing it as the Maginot line.
Faut pas respecter la neutralité de la Belgique ou traverser la Belgique. Parce que c'est peut-être là, c'est justement pour éviter tout ça.
So although it would have cost an absolute fortune to build, it was pointless. And I dare say that history, I mean history is always written by the victors, but after the war things are told differently. So I mean I would think that the Germans that are here and what they're taught in school would be slightly different to what the French are taught and what we're taught. So we're going to go down now. I can't remember what he said. I think he said it's so many metres underground. So we've just been at ground level in that like bomb-proof area with the anti-tank and the anti-gun with the machine guns and all, which was defence. That was pretty much defence of the main gates that were coming in, and then we saw where the guns are that sit out over them like mushrooms. Now we're going underground now, right down, because you used to be able to transport troops underground to get them to different areas. So although they kept on fighting here until they were told to give up, it was quite pointless really, because the Germans just went round and came round them from the back, and they didn't need to defeat this Maginot line. It was the breaks in the line really that's the problem. And the Germans came through the Ardennes, which the French thought was going to be impassable. All the way down. Man, I must admit, it's got to have made you feel a bit safer, but it was noisy. We always walk though, don't we? Like Christine said, we're the only ones walking. And there's a few footsteps in front. We've got when we get to the bottom, we've got a fair old walk. It's a kilometre underground that we're going to do. So it's pretty much, I suppose, a long hallway. It allowed them to transport troops, to get troops to different areas. There we go. We're now at what's the bottom for us, although it does go down even further. So, and then the rail tracks. Verdun was good as well, because in Verdun they travelled around underground on tracks. It's a bit surreal. Yeah, everything in here is original. There's nothing that's been added. There might have been things that have been taken away, but nothing has been added. So it's like I suppose like an engineering shop there for the here. Are we going here? Well, let's have a look. We'll try them as we go down. So there's little tunnels that come off to the side. I think it's a bit of a maze. Just areas with photos in, so I presume there would be some sort of office or something like that. Oh, firework magazine. Oh. So I guess this is where they stored all like the ammunition and bits and pieces. I'm guessing, or something to do with that, or one of the stores for the ammunition and things. Okay, the firework magazine was for storing specific ammunition. So I don't really know what that means, but suppose that's what all of these were. I suppose the idea is you wouldn't keep it all mixed, keep it all the same, you know, in different areas, so for whatever gun it is, you could go straight to a particular spot. Here we are, look, with the gun pointed down there, so even if it all get breached at that end, you could still fight. And the doors, look, trying to stop people when they were getting to the doors. It's quite amazing. And then shooting through the doors. And you'd be locked in there, so you get yourself locked in that room in there, and then you're, if the outer walls are breached inside, then you're stopping people from getting further down. So it was pretty much impregnable. However, pointless. So we're going to have a look at the kitchen. We're going to have a look at the kitchen and the inner defence. So it's a maze of tunnels and train tracks. So that allowed them to, I mean, there were troop carriers which allowed them to put troops on, so they didn't have to walk. You could get lots of troops to a certain area in a short period of time and in relative safety. The thing about tunnels is you only need 1 or 2 men to defend the tunnel, because you can only even if there's 100 men coming towards you, there's only 4 or 5 that you're actually facing. You just point your gun anywhere you want and shoot. Yeah, I know, but it tells you to come down this way. Little chapel. The same toilets and such like. So this is the kitchen. Wow. Pots, water. Where they must have kept a lot of the, I don't know, bits and pieces. Some pictures have been drawn up now, look. And, that's the original. There's a copy of it. There's a copy. And there's the original. Quite good. Yeah, apparently this is a exactly as it was. Can't believe the pickles. I suppose if you pickle things then keep for longer. There, can't be real. But I think they're plastic now. They've gone well rotted, but meat store. It says publicity already existed in those times, but it was known as advertising. Here I give you some examples of advertising for drinks and food products. So we've seen things like that before. I don't understand what it's got to do with this, but some pictures of the men working in the kitchens. So it says in this kitchen the cooking used to be done for the fort's 600 privates and non-commissioned officers. Wow. Look at that. Where they would slaughter the pigs or make them ready for eating. I suppose that must be for hot water. Served it here, look. These used to be served in bunches. So the food's all prepped around this area and cooked from there, finished, and then served here to the men. Now they're telling me what's on the menu. But it was noisy down here. We've just got a bit of air conditioning in here, shifting air around, but didn't read what this one was. Oh, more stores. More to do with the kitchens. And the beer, the wine, it would have been the wine. The wine cellar. So there's still part of the kitchen stores then. Down here somewhere. So we're looking for the inner defence. So I think this is all what this part thing is here. So here's a machine gun, which would have been turn down the corridor.
Oui, oui, tu pouvais.
Ça passait pas.
Where the gun would look out. shut that gate off there, so when people are coming in, so this is like another corridor, so that was probably down the end near where we were before, where we came in, on a different corridor, and then if this was breached, I mean, you're shooting straight down at this, and through the door. Wow. We've not done them yet. They're in numbered, look. It's number 4 now. You've done 1, 2, 3. Go to number 4. You can count, can't you? 4 electric power plant. No. Can you not count? Right. We have trouble with Christine's counting abilities. What it is she's frightened of missing something. So, ready for the electrical power plant. That's what it would have looked like. It says, being the fort's technical feat of engineering is also referred to as the works. As a matter of fact, out of total crew, 620 men, no fewer than 70 were highly skilled. Toilet. That's what the toilet look like. That's what they look like. So that's how it works, yeah. So you toilet onto there, down into the tank below, and then from that'll be pumped to wherever they can get rid of it. And urinals or wash basins, there'll be wash basins out there. Well, no way. I don't think it's supposed to be in here. I think that's all modern stuff in there. I think that's the engineer who was there, look, working on his bits and pieces. There's a couple of people that are still working down there, and I'm assuming they're working and maintaining the building, but using the equipment that was down here originally. Voltmeters and the power plant. Fire buckets, fire area. Door again, look, you can shoot through, walk through. 2 doors, so you can block this area, so even if you go through 1 door, you're struggling to get through the next one. Fuel tanks contain 96,000 litres of gas oil and assured autonomy for 3 months. You can stay down here using that fuel for 3 months. Wow. More engineering stuff. I don't think it's supposed to be down there. I think that's why the gate is shut. bunks. See, each bunk's got a table. You could still smell the fuel, not the fuel, that's that oil smell, that workshop smell. Spare parts. Wow. Unbelievable. Sorry. Even more spare parts. Wow. It's like an electrical store, this one. Switches and fuses and such like. Oh, look at that. It's a piston and a half, isn't it? Bit of metal, the line of them. Wow. Not really sure what these were, what these are. It's not written in English, but they're connected into the duct, so it must be something to do with it. And the motor is there. Yeah, it's got to be something to do with that. Doesn't seem to. Filters. I think I'm presuming they run the air through those filters and such like. And that's what you call a set of spanners.
Wow. Look at the nail spanners, aren't
Yeah. I think we've got one at home about that size, I think.
Possibly.
Yeah.
We'll go back and get some pictures when you finish it. When you're out.
Okay. Hi. Speak English?
Yes.
Okay, we've got some information about the ducks, and they're colour coded. So some of them were for pulling fresh air in and moving fresh air around underneath. Some of them are for taking the old air out, and some of these, if there's a gas attack, then they go through these filter system, which is what this is a filter system. They look like little car filters. Yeah. So you go through a filter system so the air can be breathed. So I think you've got the air from outside coming in on the green like that and running down. I think they run down the white, or you shut that off. You can bypass it and bring it through here, which cleans it and then takes it through, and then it's pumped around your system. Oh. That's yeah, so there's quite a lot of those though, isn't there? Yeah, so it's coming in the green into these, so it can come this way and not through those. So go through this, straight through your system, or you can shut that off so you can't get it through there. That forces it through these tanks. There's an app to filter the air. Well, so here's the backs of your tanks, look. Some of the tanks, there's tanks all over storing fuel. So working our way back out of the power plant, where all the engineering work and all that kind of thing goes on. Oh, a cool job though, to come and work here. And then we'll head to another area. We're going to have a look in the barracks now. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, water pump. See what that is. It's just this must have been the fresh water. Look at them for tanks. That would have been the fresh water there. These are the pipes that are pumping the air around. That way up, it kind of makes a natural expansion joint. Non-commissioned officers cross bay. So these are your lower ranking officers. This is where they would have been. So they're here. Do you know what? That sounds really stupid, but the bunks remind me of what we saw in Dachau, in that 3 layer, so not getting any more room. In fact, you're probably getting less room because they're all bunked together, so you're next to each other. Whereas at least on the other ones in Dachau, they were all single. I suppose if you're a bit higher up on the rating, there's an officer you want in this one, so there's looks like probably a sink and a toilet or something that's behind on there. barracks first because there's nobody here. With a sink and then we've got a kitchen area. This is more of an offices area, I think, than what we've had before. The tap right there, just 2 bulks, nice room to share. This is a ratings barracks, although there's officers in here, this is where the ratings would have been. The helmets. I mean, how many's in there, look? For those people. Mind you, at my shift said they would have possibly shared bunks. Possibly. Place to sit, possibly eat, I suppose, or write, or trying to use as much of the space as you possibly can. There we are, we can see inside one of these areas, so 1, 2, 3, 4, I can't tell how many there is, 5, 10, 15, 30, maybe 45 bunks in there. Look at the air ducts look into each one, look, so you're getting fresh air in. There's get a bit of a wash. I think that must have been the room. Not sure what makes one. Washing, before washing your linen. Washing your clothes, possibly. That's what I think that's for. I'm only guessing on that. No expert on washing clothes. It's like officers' quarters. Yeah, you're all right. You have room. For a bedroom, wardrobe, table, chairs, heater. More tables. You see the pipe work that pump the air through. There we are, probably bringing air in and out again, cleaning the air up again, and there's your showers. Yeah. We've seen worse, haven't we, Christine?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, we've seen worse. Yeah. Little heater. Yeah, little like officer's type room, I presume. Got his own sink and that in there. And then more barracks. Oh, it shows you in here how they would, where they put their rifles, look. On that one, some of the billy cans, look. I suppose a French version of Billy Cans. More barracks. And then I think this is to do more with the infirmary, with these beds, or I presume these are the beds for the hospital staff. Store for, it says magazine, but I think it's just a store for medical provisions. Antiseptics, bedpans. Oh, look at them for needles. I don't think you want to be in here, to be fair. I mean, why do you get your own little bunk with a bit of space? There's a bed panel. I'm presuming that's what that is, some sort. I don't know. Pardon? Because it says lovely. Sink with that sort of area for washing. Down this is a tiny narrow corridor, which is pharmacy. It says on the door, pharmacy. So I suppose this is like a doctor's room doing basic bits and pieces that you could do. Yeah, a bit of dentistry. I presume it was a multi-function room, being as the pharmacy's behind it, where they could wear you. Well, some pictures here of people being worked on. Doctor. Says it could cope with surgery emergencies in there. No. They look quite modern then, to be fair. Maybe maybe not. And then rooms again for your patients. Or an office. Or maybe not. Maybe this is where the doctor. His telephone, look at the telephone that we're putting linked in all around the tunnels. So we've walked this tunnel the other way, so okay, we've reached the end of that corridor now. We've come down here. Look at the lights for the railway tracks. Okay, we're heading for the toilets now and the headquarters. So this is obviously the main corridor. It says you've scoured halfway your circuitous tour throughout the fort. Now you are given two options. One, either you want to follow the 800 metre main gallery and proceed back to the headquarters of combat, or two, cut your visit short and leave. So we're about halfway. We're, as Christie's just said, no, we've paid for it. So that means we're carrying on. So here's one of the trains, look, that operate down here. They obviously ran on these cables above, so they were electric, like a tram, and then they can haul anything, I suppose, with these, from ammunition, I don't know, stores, all sorts of things, to men. There's another one, number 2. This is the train, so anyway, we're going to continue on down this tunnel. I think it's going to be I think it said we've got 800 metres to do. So we'll crack on. Oh, what's this? Then these are ladders up to the surface. Let's have a zip in get through here. God, that's lower than what you think. Put them in anyway. I'm presuming that doesn't go to the surface, because the surface is a lot higher than that, so it must be to a floor above. That is an emergency exit, so what you could do from this level, you could go in there and you climbed up, but I could only see halfway, so there's the other set of stairs as it goes across to go up again. So I'm guessing that that's sealed or hidden. Must be hidden. Otherwise people just let themselves in. Well, look at the length of this. There's 800 metres of this, which is over half a mile that we're in. It's 1,000, which is that's 2/3 of a mile. I think 1,000 metres in total. But we've got about 800, 700 possibly to go. Yeah, apparently there's 20,000 cables that would have run here through here. I know there's only, not just through this room, but it's only showing that. And there's some poor fellow who's got a bed would have been in there, but that was buzzing a bit. Wanted to be in there. So we're heading this way, which is the wastewater outlet, the toilet, and the commandant's headquarters. So no doubt he lived a little bit more in luxury than everybody else. Yeah. Is this, does it say?
Don't tell you on this one.
No, doesn't say. Oh, it's a big pipe with a bed in it. So I'm presuming there'd be more officer people that would have been in it. It says a rather intricate telephone network as well. So this must have been a telephone exchange. And I think they could telephone to outside as well until it was cut, because there's no doubt that would have happened. She'd cut off communications, but that was a central telephone exchange, shall we say. Some of the original electrical switching there, look. I mean, the cables would have run on these trays that run up and down this corridor. That's a gun. Seems a bit... Ah, right, okay. So the idea of this gun, it wouldn't have stayed there. You would have been able to move it out, but it can shoot either way. So this gallery would have been able to have been closed off here, around there, and then you could have turned the gun to shoot that way, or the gallery could be closed off this side to do the same thing in the opposite direction, and then that gun that you can see was actually 30 metres above you in the woods, but used as an anti-tank gun position. Oh, that's not what this gun was for then. Although it does say that that's what them doors were for, so you could block off one area from getting to the other and you could have men that was in here. That's Christine. So they found this in the gun. Well, so the gun wasn't there. That's where we are. There was these dividers, look. So you could bar off one gallery from the other.
That's the wall on next to you.
Yeah, that's what they're for. Yeah. So there was no, you'd have just used ordinary weapons. That's what, imagine when you think about it, it'd have better been a big bang. If you'd have been in here with that, you wouldn't have wanted to be around it. There we go, look, so that's obviously shooting through to whatever it was to stop people doing whatever, so there's protective area on there. You could have shot through this on this side as well. I think this allows us to go in. I think this is the toilets. I think they've kept them and they're all modern now. So if you want the loot, there you go. I can tell that they're modern. I recognise the smell. You want toilet, Christine?
No, that's not where. It's like we don't like that.
Alright.
Don't know where.
Okay. More doors here, look, for blocking off the corridor. How come a wheelchair's only halfway down?
There's not a wheelchair on there.
So again, they would shut these doors off, you'd have been able to shoot through them. But the tunnel is just, wow, it's massive. Oh, what's that? There's a mirror there, but you can't really see what it's trying to show you. Can't tell what that is. Mirror could do with a good clean. We can't really see, Christine. There's a mirror to see around the corner, but oh, I have an idea. I know what I'm going to do.
There's a bendy thing.
So I'm going to use the camera. It might go to a funny angle, but long pole on the camera, so it might have gone
Wonky.
wonky at a funny angle, possibly.
You saw
But
what we didn't.
you could see what we couldn't. So you'll have seen a part of the building we couldn't see. Unless I do take the time to have a look and see what comes up on the video, which I don't normally do.
Clean that mirror.
Yeah. We've got quite a way down now. It even goes round the corner of it, so it goes down there and then bends. But this is the Commandant's headquarters. So this is his room. I imagine that wouldn't have been his, that would be his 2 guards or whatever that he would have had. Batmen or whatever, I presume. Oh, hey, don't do bad for him, does he? Be more of your senior officers. Got a telephone on this one. Come on. And the telecommunications. When they put a picture up like that, there's usually a painting somewhere. So unless that's where that was and that's gone over the top to protect it, which is possibly what's happened. And then there's a few in here. That's the telecommunications. So I suppose your telephonists all would have worked from there. There they are, look. Yeah, they were on the wall, these. And these are the copies of them. Here, well, even got Mickey Mouse. Well, so they're the original ones. And these are some of the thingy ones, look. Really, really good. Really good. Yeah. Mickey, Minnie Mouse, Pluto, I think that is. Not sure what characters these are. Really good. Really good. I like the fact that they've protected the originals and then there's these copies, and we know how close the copies are because we've seen some of the originals, yeah. So I suppose this is where your senior officers and all of that would have been hanging out. Well, we seem to have got telephones, table, chairs, heater. Bit of a mess room. Suppose they would have had meetings and possibly in here, who knows. Another room, couple of I think because we've got 2 typewriters in here, kind of makes you think that we're getting a bit closer to where the commanding officer was. So that was Commandant. And look at that. Not bad, is it? He even got a fake fireplace. Like a feel more at home. And painted, decorated look. This wooden, make it feel more homely. I think that takes us back to the main walkway. Let's have a look up this one. I can't get up the other one. I think this might be the toilet. With a sneaky feeling. Yeah, if you look, I don't know how well you can see that. But you can make out where you put your feet on this pipe here, look. And it connected over onto that somehow. Or it stood up and connected on its all the one way around. I presume that was either exhaust in the thing or part of the pump for emptying it, maybe. That's a toilet. Hey?
What's a looky looky?
One of them, what we call it, ones, can't remember what we call them. Alright. Let's have a look at some of these. Nice to see a record. And then another office. Let's have a look down the end here. Suppose they would have had their meetings and all sorts down at this end. Yeah, telephonist. Suppose a lot of planning and everything went on in this room. This is showing you some of the guns and turrets up on the top, look. Armoured episcope, telescope if you like, binoculars. These are what they were looking out on over the, towards what would have been the Germans. Here's some of the stuff, telescopes and, what's it called, opiscopes, periscopes. Look at them. Back on the main corridor again, and some more trains down at this end. The commandant didn't live as well as what I thought he would have done. I thought he would have had, there'd have been more going on. Look, you can switch lines. So here we are with the trams again. So there's that arm that somebody has to lift up. I suppose there's one for one way and one for the other, I presume. Purifiers are everywhere. There's thousands of them. I'm sure what that is. There's even more stacked here, so I suppose if there's a lot of people down here, you've got to have them for the gas. What's this? Block 5. It's block 5. Oh, it's water. It's just full of water.
Water? Water?
Yeah. I don't understand. There won't be a lot of water in there, though. That's not a lot of water. Might be water for cleaning or clearing or something. Have a look. Yeah. This is a front station with its water tank. Water storage tank meant to meet fire emergencies was built in the area. Thanks to its electric pumps, the water could be put under pressure to start up firefighting. Oh, so that was for firefighting. A little cistern of water. Right. You want even more of them. Look at the length of them now, where they're storing them down here. Anyway, we go this way. Lights on green, so we can go. Which takes us to block 5 again. It's just a maze, this place, just a maze. 10 is that way, block 8 is this way, so let's do 8 first. It is an unbelievable maze. There we got some more small barracks. There's your Mickey Mouse unlock picture on there. Oh, there's a lift here for you to get your munitions up and down. Taking it up there, there's another one of the pictures, look, in that corridor. See if I can, there you go, there she is. You can see that. Skeleton now. There, that's really, really cool. Yeah. And then, so I'm presuming that would have taken the guns, the munitions up to the turrets on the top. So there's a turret slot. You could have got the ammunition up to there. Turret mortars, so they're mortars, and that's what it would have looked like up on the top. And this is the gun that would have fired it. So mortars put into there, shut the breech, fire it, and that would have been fired out of the turrets. Turrets. So those ones are been lifted up and down. So block 5's armed with two 8.1cm mortars, pattern 32 range, 3.3 kilometres rate, 13 to 18 pounds a minute, rounds a minute. Short barrel guns with low muzzle velocity, lobbing off their heavy shells. It's topped with one cloche embedded in the concrete for spying out, short range automatic rifle coverage, fire and another one for hand grenades. Well, that's what we're talking about. The different pictures. Unbelievable. There's different rounds, I think. That's got something to do with, I don't know what it's got to do with. I wouldn't even like to guess. Maybe elevation and things like that. Go and have a look at block 4 and block 3, which is the cannon turret. So coming to this area. Let's have a look. Got block and tackle there, look, for shifting This is a block and tackle. That'll be for moving the ammunition and such like, I would have thought. And they run in that rail, so you could transport it to where you needed it. So probably from here to here, down there, we can't get any further down there, or there's some more blocks and things. These, which are some of the guns, we saw a couple of these where we came in, and the magazines. Look at that. It's again where the magazines probably have had bigger bullets and things on there, and that's probably what it would have looked like on the outside, I would have thought. Another machine gun, that would have been all fixed around that, I would have thought. There's your spyglass there, so that would have been built into the concrete, I'm presuming. Don't know what's in here. I think it's just showing the motor running, I think. Yeah, it's got an engine running. There's some of the motors and things that were in here. Oops, sorry. They follow these railings where they could shift ammunition or heavy some right kit. Some of it's a lot of this heavy machinery that there might have been loading. Oh look, there's the pull things, look, to for altering which way things are going on the track. So they pull the handles, if you pull the lever, and then the lever alters, can't do it, but the lever, that lever, you pull that will pull that would alter that, and it changes the way you're running on your track. This room, well, somebody's room. I think some rooms are more desirable than others. But you see how they guide all of the. This is another one of them things. So this is what it looked like. So that's up on the surface. So usually in banks of 3, and then there's a lift. Takes you get it up to that point turret. And there we look at them for guns. I mean, these would have been, there you go, look, so these would have been coming out of one of the other parts of the other dams. So that's what it would have looked at, like, within a dam. And then you've got these firing at you, while whoever is protected inside. Look at them. All these protected doors. And we're on our way to number 10 now, which is cannon turret. I think 10 is the last one. So I think this is our main hallway again. So we're kind of dodging in and out of I think there's your light system for the trains. I think that's what kids have done. They're quite good actually. So must have been some school thing that's been going on. Do pictures of things that they've learned or what they thought of the place. Really good. Number 10, cannon turret is this way. So doors are just huge, and how they can lock things off is amazing. So more things for the blocks and tackles. Wow. So these are what sort of things that shelled this place. The howitzer. So these are what shelled this fortress. These are the type of ammunition that they had coming in. They're way over a ton, these. It says on there, having been thought out so as to be able to stop an invading army, Schoenbourg actually fulfilled its task. At the time when the fort underwent heavy artillery shelling on the 14th of May 1940, and it responded firing back with its own guns. The actual battle began on the 14th of June. The Schoenbourg fired 3,840 shells and managed to ward off all enemy inroads. On the 21st to 23rd of June, the German artillery dispatched 50 420mm mortar rounds, whose shells could yet but hardly damage the fort's bunker work. On the 25th of June, the armistice put an end to the fighting, but Commandant Rainier, obeying the French High Command, surrendered only on July 1940. The fortress troops could indeed hold up their leitmotiv no way through, in spite of the French defeat. So let's have a look into here. There they are, look. I don't think we can actually get up, which is a shame. Part of the howitzer. Oh, there you go, look. Yeah.
That's what we see.
Like machine guns on the top point and one. Oh, I suppose you can move in any of that. Like, and then underneath it, bloody got a big cannon thing, mortars. Wow, I suppose this way is one of the stores for ammunition. Look at it. We'll get this end and we'll go into the other bit. Oh. So there's the guy that designed it, Maginot. Is this Joff then? Is that Joff? Don't know. Don't know.
It's a minute, but then
What, Joff?
no, it's it.
No, that's Maginot, that.
No, it's it.
I'm on about
Tash on.
him. No, I'm not really sure. Don't know. Okay, we're going. I think this is the last one to go in. I think, which is block 3, the cannon turret. I think we go upstairs here, if I remember rightly. So, this is the Maginot. Wow, look at the craters and the pictures on there. Look at the shells and everything that's in the turrets. Look at it. Look at that. The damage of the dead, or little damage. Wow. Okay, I think we get to go and have a look up now. So this is you bring some of your ammunition and everything, and we were looking at the lifts that take them up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up there and have a look where it takes it. We're going up to the turret, it's 53 steps. I'm going to turn this off and I'll turn it back on when I get there. We've come up the steps and which takes us to here, to this level. We'll do this level first. Some electrics and one of the guns. Wow, what's this? It's like I don't know. Oh, it's part of the turret, look. Now it's greased. So here, there, that's where we are. We can go up a bit further yet. Okay, let's just have a quick nosy in this side before we go up. So obviously water storage tanks, that's all shut. So up this last set of stairs.
Vielen Dank. War sehr informativ.
So here is bunks again. Very cold conditions there. There's a look at the turret and guns. We've already seen. Oh, ladders to take you. I suppose a bit of an observation thing up there. Probably be a gun up there as well. Yeah. That'll be a toilet. And then these rails to run your ammunition around and store into there. And then this is so there's, we were down there before. This is the turret for the thing. I'm going to do the same as what I did before, but I'll extend this out a little bit and then so you can see. Hopefully you could see something we couldn't. But that's it, where it was all turned from, operated from. They're put into, rounds are put into there, then they're taken. And then they'll be loaded from a bit further up than that. What now? Okay. So, just showing you the turret again. So, we've got the turrets turning. See a further one over there, look. So there they are in threes. I don't know what the other two are in, I suppose, observation points. That is it on the pivot, that's where we were earlier. And that's to lift it up and down. I suppose the pivot would be weighted, so it only has to lift a light amount. It doesn't have to lift the whole weight of the turret if you can get the pivot. So that's almost balanced, you don't need so much.
La stratégie, je vais vous expliquer. La stratégie de la ligne Maginot. Vous avez la frontière, l'Allemagne, l'Italie. La ligne Maginot, elle est à 8 km de la frontière. Pourquoi déjà 8 km? Voilà, avec le canon, on arrive à tirer 9 km. Ça, c'est la raison des 8 km. Alors, comme on a des tourelles, elles tournent à 360 degrés. Alors, on défend tout le secteur. On défend tout le début.
It's good that. It's a shame you can't see the top though.
Well, you can for
And then all the munitions, so that's how they would all be moved around. Amazing. When they're all finished, this is where the expelled cartridge shells go, and then they're emptied, I presume, through these doors. Wow. Anyway, I think, there you go. So down there, you come down here like that, drop into there, and somebody can unload it at the bottom. Then more quarters, telephone lot, bunks again. We've got operations room, command quarters, so location of the target. That's showing the same thing but in black and white, yeah. Very interesting, very interesting. Right, enjoyed that. Now we've got the 1,000-metre walk back. Oop. So every space is utilised. You know, if there's a bit of space, there's a bunk put in it. There's a rooms were multifunctional. That'll be up to a toilet, I should think. Really good. And then that brings us out at the very end. Some more trains down there, look. And carriages. And these air filters are everywhere. Emergency exit. So that's it. Now we've got there's 900 left now. So it's the 1,000-metre walk back down the main corridor. Very interesting. Really, really good. Enjoyed that a lot. Christine says there's some we still haven't done, which this is the front sub power station. Plus more carts with end. You forget what you've seen and what you haven't. Although I think we may be coming back down a different tunnel then. I mean, considering there's what 660 men would have been in this system, it's not a lot of men.
Well, it's a big area.
To you know, thingy an area like this, it's you know, you're pretty. I wonder what, when they surrendered and the Germans got into it, I wonder what the Germans did with it. I wonder, you know, I mean, it's, with the looks of it, they just mothballed it, because it was, you know, there was no point to it, I suppose. Oh yeah, it's 8 and 9 went up there, so we went that way.
Yeah.
Now we're back into the main tunnel. Yeah, because we passed these. No, it's okay. Right, so we finished that tour on there. Let's have a look at these. I think these have been put here so you can actually see what they look like. Although they're not, I think they've been taken out from the original positions, just to give you an idea. I'm not going to go around there and get all muddy. I think that one's got more a machine gun thing going on. Let's have a look on this side. Yeah, it only has that the 2 or 3 holes at the front on it. That's a machine gun one, not one of the big cannons or mortars that they had, that we were looking at. before. I mean, there's I think, whereas this one, I think, would have been able to do that. Wouldn't have turned the same, but they were only pointing in one direction, these. I mean, they turned the 360, these only pointed in one direction, as did most of the guns, only pointed one way. So, never mind. That was good, that was really, really interesting. Anyway, onwards and upwards.